The Longbox Crusade presents
Action Film Face-Off.
This episode, it's 1974 versus 2000.
Two films into.
One film leaves.
Two men enter, one man leaves. Two men enter, one man leaves. Two men enter, one man leaves. Two men enter, one man leaves.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hit.
Welcome back to Action Film Face-Off, everybody. This is the show where two random years are selected. My brother brings an action film from one of the random years. I bring an action film from the other random year. Then those two films do battle using a variety of criteria, and a champion will be crowned by the end of the episode. I am Jared Albert, the Death Probe. My co-host is my brother Jason, the Weasel Skull. We are both military combat veterans who take our action seriously, but not too seriously. So let's have some fun. Jason, what kind of episode? I have me a double blind fire. I had never seen either one of these movies.
I have a half blind fire. I saw Way of the Gun when they hit the theaters in 2000. Never heard of... Was it The Stranger and the Gunfighter, I think is what we resolved the title is. Never heard of that one before, so that was a first for me.
Yeah, it also got released under the title of Blood Money. It's one of these movies that was an Italian film, spaghetti western, and I think when it hit the home video market, they might have done Blood Money, or when they did it in Europe, I don't know. But we're going to be referring to it as The Stranger and the Gunfighter on this episode.
Yes, indeed. We're going to score each of today's films on a scale of 1 to 10 in 5 categories. What are those categories, you might ask? I don't know why you keep asking. I tell you every time. We've done this like 50-something times, but I'll say it again. It's
90 times.
We did it 90 times. Holy cow. All right. Well, 90 times, and 90 out of 90 times, it's been the spectacle, the hero, the villain, the story, best action scene. Still not in that order. We might be getting closer. But it's still not in that order.
It's like spinning a Rubik's Cube every time.
It is. It's like we might get one side, but we won't get all 4 sides. Still, what we will do is have that deduction round where we minus 10 points for any point of either movie, which we think is a low point of the movie or detracts from the movie's enjoyment.
Well, up to 10 points. Let's not get carried away.
Oh, yeah. Up to 10 points. I don't know what we've ever...
I think the most we've ever done was like 4. I want to say like we did 4 at one point. But anyways.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I'm
Jason.
interested to see how many you do on this one.
We'll see. Right. Well, thank you, Jason. And it's time to introduce our sniper. It is our quarterly return sniper. Our sniper here, who has 1 point to give in each category so she can sway the scoring for up to 5 points, is Captivating Kathy Bright, the MVP. Welcome back, Kathy.
MVP.
Whoop, whoop. Hello.
Hello. And Kathy, your tailored question, since you're on so often this time, is what are your 3 favorite Western films?
This is a toughie because, sorry to disappoint the listeners, I'm not a huge fan of Westerns. So I have not seen a lot of Westerns, but I did come up with a list. And I have a honorable mention. They're odd choices. I'm just going to tell everybody that. Blazing Saddles, considered a Western.
Sure.
I'll accept it.
Young Guns, considered a Western.
Not bad.
Absolutely.
Magnificent Seven.
Original or remake?
Original. I like the remake, but the original.
I did too, but yeah.
I mean, someone knows how much I love Yul Brynner.
That's true.
And then my honorable mention goes to Serenity. Because technically it's a sci-fi Western. So
I'll give it to you. Not bad. No judgment on those. Well done, Kathy. Before our 2 films enter the Videodome arena, we're thrilled to kick off this episode with special shout-outs to our Crusaders Club members. These are the fine folks who have joined our crusade. They get to enjoy early access to special Longbox episodes. They get priority seating to be on episodes. A lot of our club members have been on this show. This is our most requested show to be on by our club members, and I'm proud of that. We love having you guys on, so look for more opportunities in the near future. These are the folks reaping the benefits and giving so much appreciated support to the show.
Alan W. Wright.
And Helica Wolf.
Auburn Elvis.
Bill Beer.
Billy D.
Bradley Dello, Strato Viper.
Braxton Underwood.
Carrie.
Clinton Robinson.
Captain Entropy.
Clark Westfield.
Comic Foil.
My nemesis, Dave Collins.
Battle wagon.
Eric Hodges.
Eric Porter.
Ezra Gallo.
Gary V.
Gene Hendricks.
George Meal.
Gerald Green.
Heinz K.
Django Unfettered.
Jason Keene.
Jason Lady.
Jeff Poyer.
Jim Jarman. Jim Jarman. Jim Jarman. I hope you like Jim Jarman too.
Jim Meal.
Joe Man Conan.
Joe Thomas.
John Watson.
Josh Strickland.
JT.
Candace Ward.
Some weirdo named MVP Captivating Kathy Bright.
Matt and Lissy Paso.
Mark Ross.
Michael Wagner.
Miranda W.
P.D. Devins.
Rick of Jeff and Rick Present.
Ronald Easterday.
Rob Morgan.
Scott.
Sean Urbanski.
Snake Plissken.
Spidey 67.
Spreadsheet.
Steve Cronin.
The Wild and Crazy Steve Martin.
Tim Price.
Tony Pennington.
And the Toronto Cop.
If we missed anyone on the list, we apologize. Keep in mind we record these episodes well in advance of release, so if you're a recent edition, we'll add you soon. But no worries. Truth be told, Action Film Face Off usually gets recorded like within 2 weeks of release. So if you've joined since we recorded, welcome. Anyway, you can always let us know we missed you by sending an email to contact@longboxcrusade.com, and we'll get all squared away. And you might be asking yourself, how do I become a Crusaders Club member? Well, it's simple. You go to patreon.com and search for Longbox Crusade. For as little as $1 a month, you get access to the amazing world of Crusaders Club. We encourage you to check it out.
Well, now that we've done our duty, let's have some pleasure and get after that booty. Let's get back to the combat and learn a bit about the film Gladiators, about the battle for your pleasure.
This episode, I was assigned the year of 1974, and I've selected The Stranger and the Gunfighter. What year did the randomizer select for you, Jason?
I got 2000, and I put into our Videodome arena The Way of the Gun. Sounded cool.
Did sound cool. We have a fine matchup for this one, folks. It's important to point out this is not Jared versus Jason. We each had to select from our assigned year. I might very well like his selection better than mine, which I do not, or vice versa. This is about us discussing some beloved action films and coming to a consensus on which one is this episode's champion. It is time for our Around the Room on where we saw it. Both of these reside on my Plex. I am uninteresting on this one. Kathy.
The Way of the Gun I found on Tubi. The Stranger and the Gunfighter I tried to watch on Tubi, but it was not American, so I did not understand it.
And brush up on that Italian, Kathy.
But I did find it on Jared's Plex.
Hey, saving the day.
That's right.
Jason.
Way of the Gun I rented for $3.99 off of Apple. I actually went onto eBay and bought a Shaw original DVD of Stranger and the Gunfighter. So I watched that one on DVD.
Was the DVD a Stranger and the Gunfighter, or was it a Blood Money copy? Just out of curiosity.
I believe it was Blood Money copy.
Okay. Interesting. I think, I feel like they did something with the home video release. Anyways, there you go, folks. That's how we saw it. And it's time for your spoiler warning, because we're about to spoil both of these movies. So anything goes on the other side of the Q1065 dance break.
For the legendary Q106.5 in your car, on your smart speaker, on your phone. Browse to Q1065.com. 80s, 90s. This is a radio station with a vibe. Download our app or listen online. Search at Q1065 Radio on social media. The Q is your favorite radio station. Discover Q106.5 and hear the 80s and 90s hits on the radio station with personality. Q106.5.
Okay, folks, let me jump in with some quick information on 1974's The Stranger and the Gunfighter.
Lo Lee is the undisputed master of martial arts. A savage. A saint. A stranger. Lee Van Cleef is the legendary man of iron, a gambler. A gentleman.
Don't get offended. but he just wants to see your,
A gunfighter. Now, from Columbia Pictures,
Welcome to Monterey,
The Stranger and a Gunfighter.
the hanging town.
The most brutal hands in the East join with the fastest gun in the West in an unusual search for a fortune in gold. The Stranger, the Gunfighter, and the gold.
am I on the right road?
Not only are you on the right road, but you arrive at your destination.
Lee Van Cleef, the meanest man in the West. He wants the gold and he means to get it. Lo Lee, the kung fu fighting star of the 5 Fingers of Death. His fists are lethal weapons, and his body an arsenal of destruction. Two fantastic fighting machines. Lo Lee, Van Cleef, the Stranger, and the Gunfighter. Together, they can do anything.
The cast and crew is as follows. It stars Lee Van Cleef, Lo Lai, and Julian Ugarte. It's directed by Antonio Margaretti. The synopsis goes a little something like this. Ho Shang is sent to the USA to find the fortune that his uncle made while living in America. Shang's uncle was a big fan of the professional women of the Wild West, and he tattooed clues on the buttocks of these 4 women. And the treasure can only be found if you have all 4 clues. Shang links up with a gunfighter named Dakota to help him navigate the world of the American West, and the adventure ensues. Over to Kathy for the trivia.
There was not a lot of trivia, and I believe Jared has something extra to add to this, but I am going to read. It's going to be more of a Van Cleef trivia than a movie trivia, if that's okay with everyone.
Proceed.
Lee Van Cleef was fired from his accounting job when his boss heard he had turned down an acting job because they were not allowing him to give a 2 weeks notice. So the boss fired him, said, "You don't have to worry about it. Go be an actor." Cleef was in a car accident where he lost his left kneecap. Doctors said, "You will never be able to ride a horse again." Within 6 months, he was right back in the saddle again, riding horses.
Manly man.
That's right. And this one is for my 2 James Bond friends. Lee Van Cleef was on the very short list of actors under consideration for the role of the arms dealer. His name is... Y'all don't know the...
Klaus Hermann.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were reading it. The Living Daylights.
Oh, that's Whitaker. Brad Whitaker.
Is it Max? Oh, Brad. Okay. Yes, he was considered for that role. And it was also considered for the role of Max Zorin in A View to a Kill, which I'm sure Jerry would have something to say about that, because, that would mean that his boy would not have been in the movie.
I can't approve that, but I would happily watch the alternate universe version just to see how Van Cleef did.
Gotcha. I believe Jared may have had a Lee Van Cleef story.
I just have an interesting, well, not that interesting. I have a connection to Lee Van Cleef. I served with his grandson in the Air Force, whose name was also Lee Van Cleef. And he had a son that was like 2 years older than my son when my son was a newborn. So his son was moving to toddler bed, and he gave us the crib that his son had used. So my son Jordan was raised in Lee Van Cleef's great-grandson's crib. And then subsequently, Jay used the same bed as well. So that is my linkage to the Van Cleef legacy.
That's pretty sweet. You got to leave. That's a good story.
His grandson was pretty cool.
Why Jordan likes to tattoo stuff on. And now I will give you the rundown on 2000's The Way of the Gun.
What would you say qualifies you as a donor?
I would say I am a fairly good-looking man, physically fit, stable.
I've never killed a man. I beg your pardon?
Listen to me! Get off the car!
For the record, I'll call myself Mr. Parker. My associate will be Mr. Longbow.
She's got a big mouth, but she's not kidding. You want to do the man dance?
It became clear to us that our path had been chosen and we had nothing to offer the world. So we stepped off the path and went looking for the fortune that we knew was looking for us. Some deep pockets, a pregnant woman, some bodyguards, and a doctor's name. Okay, boys, we want this to go down nice and quiet.
What kind of a kidnapping is this? Tell the doctor to get on Highway 19 south. He comes alone. He brings $50 million. What do you think?
I think a plan is just a list of things that don't happen.
Can't you see there are guns here?
Want to get out now? This is never going to come your way again.
Help me!
Peekaboo. Are you the brains of the outfit, or is he? Tell you the truth, I don't think this is a brains kind of operation.
Starring Ryan Phillippe, Benicio del Toro, Juliette Lewis, and James Caan. And it was directed by Christopher McQuarrie. Synopsis goes a little something like this. We're going to get this out of the way right up front. Thank goodness for James Caan. I'm just going to throw that in.
Here, here.
Mr. Parker and Mr. Longbow are two hardened criminals who have dropped out of society and are looking for their next big score. They think they have struck gold when they kidnap Robin, a surrogate mother of a wealthy couple. Unfortunately, that wealthy couple is in deep with the mob, and Mr. Parker and Mr. Longbow end up fighting for their lives in a tale of secrets, betrayal, and violence. Can there be any redemption? I watched this daggone movie, and I still don't know. Passing it over to Kathy to do the trivia.
There are two connections in this movie to the 1969 film Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. The names of Phillippe and Del Toro's characters, Parker and Longbaugh, are the real last names of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Also, the final shootout scene in the brothel was filmed in the same location as the final shootout scene in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I knew it looked familiar.
I thought it looked familiar.
I thought this was kind of cool. The original bottles that the Parker character, Ryan Phillippe's character, falls into did have, remember all those glass bottles?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was pretty memorable.
Well, all those bottles did have labels on them originally because the companies who were sponsoring those bottles being in the movie like had approved everything until they saw what the bottles were being used for, kind of like weapons, like cutting them up. So they removed their approval and they had to go in and digitally remove all those labels off those bottles. The writer-director, Christopher McQuarrie, his brother is a U.S. Navy SEAL and was the technical advisor on this film. This helped with the realism in the coordinated movements, the use of cover, and the room clearing tactics used by Parker and Longbaugh in the last shootout scene. The final shootout scene was planned out with a map, cowboy and Indian figures, with a storyboard artist there to capture the plan for that shootout scene. And I do have a bonus nugget. In case anyone was wondering, because I did the math. Sarah Silverman's character says more than 20 F words in her opening scene of this movie.
I believe
I forgot she was in that. And now that we have the basics on today's contestants.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Test your might.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Fight.
It's a street fight.
All right, folks, it's time to get into it. So let's talk some pre-game stuff. Let's talk match game. 2 films, 5 categories. Jason hasn't seen my scores. I have not seen his. Place your bets, folks. How many times are we going to match out of 10? Kathy, what's your live bet?
I'm going to guess 5.
Kathy's going with 5. Speaking of scores, let's set your barometer. A 5 is average. It's okay. It's something you'd see on a made-for-TV movie, and it's fine. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you got some elite stuff. And 4, 3, 2, 1, you got things to work on. with that, let's get into round one. Round one is the story. How engaging or original is your story? We'll start with Jason. Your thoughts on 1974's The Stranger and the Gunfighter.
I guess in a word, I'd say that this movie was fun. It had a very humorous opening scene, a funny plot. I don't know, in today's modern audiences, if that plot would be as palatable as it was in 1974. But when you look at it through that lens, it was humorous and it was clever. And we talked about it a little bit on one of our previous episodes where, again, this one kind of reminded me of one of the forefathers of the Rush Hour type of franchise where you have that East meets West concept. And this movie did it really well. It was entertaining, lots of action throughout, good character chemistry, a couple laugh out loud scenarios, and interesting plot that kept us moving from beginning to end. I'd say that the story, and I'll reflect it in my score later on, but it was like kind of average until like the very end when they just threw everything at the wall and it got pretty crazy. But anyway, so yeah, I'll just go back to my original word, fun story.
I concur. I think this was a fun movie. But what does Kathy think? What do you think about the story on Stranger and the Gunfighter, 1974?
If you are someone who enjoys movies about women's backsides and hidden treasures, this movie is for you.
I gotta go put my
and
score
this
up.
podcast too.
Simple. I agree with fun. There was some laughs. I mean, when you have to explain to someone from another country what an ass is, I thought that was funny. And the whole scene when they go into the bar for the first time, or no, I guess it's not the first time, when he goes in with the dog and the guy's trying to make him leave. And he was like, but if I leave, the dog won't be accompanied. Like there were a lot of fun moments.
Yeah, it was good.
That's all I've got.
I agree with you guys. I think it's a fun movie. Like Jason said, precursor to Rush Hour. It's just kind of a fun little thrill ride, a little mashup of Kung Fu craze of the 70s and the spaghetti Western craze of the 70s. It kind of made sense. So, yeah, I like that one. But let's shift gears and go to 2000 and the story of Way of the Gun, and back to Jason.
It's kind of 180 degrees different from The Stranger and the Gunfighter. It's not fun. There's not much levity to it. There's no... I think this one had a lot of potential, and it could have gone in a couple different directions, but it seemed to kind of be unable to figure out what direction it wanted to go. Because with our two protagonists, it seemed like are we on kind of a redemptive arc type story, or are we on this very dark criminal crusade, kind of like Heat, where the characters are who they are. There's no character arc. It's just irresistible force meets immovable object, and then we see what happens in the end. And either one could have been fun and entertaining, but when you're trying to mix both, and then sometimes the story gets to be too clever by half, just too many moving parts, I was left kind of dissatisfied with the story. I honor the attempt, but it was neither fun. Just the convoluted mess of it kind of seemed to take some of the entertainment value out for me. I'll leave it there.
I'm going to agree with you a lot, but let's find out what Kathy thinks.
I agree. It is a 180. It is very heavy. I like the underlying story because there was a lot of twists and turns. They weren't necessarily difficult to figure out. I like how they played the secrets well, as you were able to fit. Like, I knew James Caan was her dad as soon as, you know.
Oh, is that what it was?
And I knew something was going on with Taye Diggs' character. I thought it was going to be that he was with Robin, the pregnant girl. Wasn't expecting it to be the wife. That was kind of like, oh my gosh. So I liked the twists and turns. But it was just, I mean, even just the opening scene, I'm like, I'm a potty mouth more so than a lot of folks. But that whole opening scene, I'm like, why is this so necessary?
Here. Like, what in the world was that about?
There is a thing in the IMDb, like the trivia, apparently he had that idea. He was at the beach or something. And it was like he worked with the idea of like, if a group of people are coming at you and one other person, you're never going to win that fight. But you try to turn the tables. And the reason he actually did punch her in the face, Sarah Silverman, accidentally. He didn't mean to, but he really did punch her. He turned it around because if you notice when Sarah Silverman walks off, she's blaming the boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
They're not blaming Del Toro and Philippi. They're blaming and she's the one that said, do something. You know, she's the one was egging him on, but the director or writer, he had mentioned that he had been playing around with that kind of idea. So I'm assuming that's why he did that scene in that movie, but I still don't see why it fit with the whole thing.
It doesn't. It doesn't. I'll just go on record to say there's only been a handful, I think 3 movies on Action Film Face Off that I just haven't really liked. This is one of them. I didn't like Night Riders, which was on the last episode. So I stand 2 in a row. I didn't really like The Getaway with Steve McQueen. I can respect it, but as a mean-spirited movie. And I think this is a mean-spirited movie.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to hear what you guys have to say in the next category.
Yeah, after getting about a third of the way through, I was just like, okay, this needs to really pick up. Or as I'm checking out, I just don't care. I don't like any of these characters. I don't think any of this is as clever as the creators think it is. You know, it smacked of to me that Pulp Fiction hit, I want to say in like 94. And after that, there was sort of this trend of, oh, let's do the edgiest thing possible. Let's be as edgy and cool as possible. And this felt like it fell into that wake of Pulp Fiction. Look how edgy we can be with this. And I'm just like, spoiler alert, folks, I don't really like Pulp Fiction.
Me either. Which this is why it's so weird to me, because when I looked up the writer-director, and we kind of talked about this off screen a bit earlier, the other movies that this man has written and directed are some of my absolute favorite movies ever. Like
Mission Impossible movies alone do it for me.
4 Mission Impossible movies, Maverick, and Edge of Tomorrow. Like
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick.
All right. Didn't want to get confused with Mel Gibson. And
No. Top Gun Maverick.
Also a fine movie.
Yeah, I like them all.
I mean, those are my like top Tom Cruise movies.
Oh yeah, when he teams up with Tom.
Maybe that's the magic. Maybe that's the magic is Tom Cruise.
And I had an off-camera conversation last night. We recorded something else. We just talked about it a little bit. And I was like, I had this theory. I was like, maybe he needs Tom to make really great movies. Like they're just that duo, you know? I don't know. Maybe. But I agree with you. His resume is a lot of cool stuff on there, Kathy. A lot of top-tier movies. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Let's score these. Let's double back and score them. Jason, Stranger the Gunfighter. 1 to 10 on the story. Go.
Never seen a movie quite like it, so I'm going to give that one a 7.
Match game number 1. I also scored it a 7. Its fun factor gets it there. It's done on the cheap. We'll talk about that probably in some other rounds. So it's, you know, they were just cranking movies out in Italy, especially these Westerns back then. But I think this is kind of a cut above. I watched a lot of spaghetti Western. I think this is a cut above a lot of them because of the fun factor. So yeah, we're at 7s. Let's go to Way of the Gun. 1 to 10, Jason, on the story. I bet you're higher than me.
Well, James Caan's back is hurting. His knees are about to give out because he's carrying the story of this movie. But because of James Caan's effort, it gets a 6.
You want to guess at what I gave it?
A 4. You gave
correct.
It a 4.
Sean Connery 4. I gave it a 4 because I just didn't like it. We talk about 5 being made for TV, kind of like, oh, yeah, this is kind of cool. You know, you watch it on a rainy Sunday afternoon. If I came across this on a rainy Sunday afternoon, if I didn't have to watch Action Film Face Off, I would have stopped probably after about half hour, 40 minutes. I would have been like, I would have changed the channel, you know, to use our analogy of made for TV movies. Back in the days, kids, the movie, you know what? Never mind.
You're going to have to explain this one.
Never mind. I gave it a 4 and I'm not sorry about it. It is time for the first sniper round. The +1 bonus point goes to.
This is so tough because they're so completely different. I mean, I can respect the story of The Way of the Gun, even though it is heavy. It was a little more creative.
I don't know about that, Kathy. We're talking about tattooing clues on prostitute buttocks here.
No. This is so tough.
I get it though, because it is like 2 very different flavors of ice cream.
Because there's so many layers to The Way of the Gun story. Like, and it's just parts of it are revealed as you progress through it. And in The Stranger and the Gunfighter, I knew before he even left that treasure was in that stupid statue. So he didn't even have to.
I did too. Yeah.
Okay, because I know it's going to lose, I'm going to give my point to The Way of the Gun.
Oh, pity point. I love it.
Yes, pity point.
There are not enough bullets in the world to save this movie.
I really thought about counting the bullets in that movie because, good Lord, let's talk about that in Spectacle.
All right, that is the end of round one.
All right, that brings us to round two, where we talk about the hero or the hero's team, the hero's journey of these two films. All right, so Jared, we're going to mix it up, and you go ahead and tell me your thoughts on the heroes of The Stranger and the Gunfighter.
Shang and Dakota, I think, are our heroes in Stranger and the Gunfighter.
I believe that's right.
They make a cool duo. Just a few episodes ago, we did Red Sun with Charlie Bronson and Toshiro Mifune. This is very similar to that, except that had a bigger budget and arguably more established actors. I'm a Lee Van Cleef fan, but Charlie Bronson probably a bit more cachet in the Western and adventure genre. Maybe. I don't know. Depends on your point of view. But what I'm getting at is whether you got a big budget and a guy like Terrence Young on Red Sun, that's great. But if you just have fun chemistry, even if your budget's lower, it's still fun to watch. And that's what we have here, I think. I think that Lee Van Cleef's Dakota is great. He's obviously comfortable in this Western role. He's been doing this for probably 15 years now. And then this guy, Ho Shang, I'm certain I've seen him probably in some of the many Kung Fu movies I've seen before. But
I was thinking that too, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you which ones he was in. I'm certain there's listeners out there that are probably screaming in their device right now.
Wait till March. We'll
get Cisco to straighten us out. Yeah, but what I'm getting at is both likable, both very comfortable with what they're doing, both play well off of each other. I like the fact that this is a 74 film that features a minority character like Ho Shang, and he's the smart one. He's the clever one. He's got all these talents. He's basically the main hero, which is a bold move because I think Lee Van Cleef's the bigger star. But I feel like they played every card right as far as the chemistry of these two. So I will leave it at that.
Oh, I agree with you, Jared. I felt the chemistry was tight in this one. And I will also point out that I don't believe in Red Sun that Charlie Bronson had a rope. But
good point.
We have a rope in this one with Lee Van Cleef, right?
He remembered to bring his rope.
Exactly. So, interesting. All right, Kathy, over to you. What are your thoughts?
I'm just glad this one has a hero. No, they did.
We'll get to it. I guarantee you we'll get to it.
They're both charming. I agree with everything. They play well off each other. They're both comfortable in the roles. They both added charm to the roles. They both added humor. So I like this pairing. And I'm very much like Shanghai Nights. So that's really all I've got.
Yeah, it's interesting. You guys both stressed the chemistry. And Jared, you mentioned that Lee Van Cleef he's a big star at this point.
I think he had done 100. He's done like 170 movies when I looked at his IMDb.
Oh, man, so. Yeah, but he gladly gave over to his co-star in this one. And I think it really spoke volumes and it improved the quality of the film. All right. Well, Jared, let's move it back over to another one that I have a feeling you're not going to speak so glowingly on. Okay. Again, this is one of those where I don't think this movie had any heroes in it. We'll say protagonists. So what did we think of the protagonists Way of the Gun?
I don't have much for this, to be honest with you. There's no likable characters in here for me at all. James Caan, probably the most likable one. And he was he's kind of quasi-partnered up with that other old hat guy who kept all the guns in a bag and was kind of trying to kill himself when the phone kept ringing.
Yeah.
You know that's Juliette Lewis's dad in real life, right?
I don't know if they've done a movie together before. Is this the only movie they've done together?
I don't know.
Her and her dad. Anyway, you know what? Maybe Juliette Lewis's character, Robin, is the most likable person in the whole movie. I don't know. This is tough with Jason. There's nobody I liked, nobody I rooted for. Didn't have feeling one when characters got shot and died. Didn't care. I pass it to Kathy. I don't got anything great to say here.
Yeah, no, I think it goes back to the type of movie it was trying to play. And if we're trying to give the characters a hero's journey, I feel like we failed that. I was thinking back to when we talked about that opening scene, and Kathy had brought up some of the details of that fight they get into, in that parking lot at the very beginning. It struck me that we see the characters, our two heroes, at the beginning of the movie laid out bleeding on the ground, and in the end we see them laid out bleeding on the ground. So absolutely no progress made. Yeah, so I'm kind of left scratching my head like, what was all that about? But maybe Kathy saw it differently. Kathy, I'm getting the feeling that maybe you have a little more love for Way of the Gun than Jared or I. So why don't you take it from here? Tell us what you think.
Well, I do want to rebuttal James Caan he did allow his daughter to be in this situation of being the surrogate for this money launderer boss man of his, because he was working with R.I.P. Scott Wilson, a.k.a. Herschel from The Walking Dead.
I know. I did recognize Herschel from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's clicked in my head now.
So, James Caan not winning Father of the Year. He did call the paramedics, I guess, but that's a whole nother thing we'll talk about in Spectacle. I did see points of the movie where Parker and Lomba were trying to make the right decisions to help her. Like, I kept seeing some glimpses of Ryan Phillippe trying to be a better person. But I don't think there were any heroes. But I do have something I did want to talk about. Was I did read that McQuarrie had said that he feels that Painter, the doctor, is the hero of this film.
I can see that possibly.
But he just made note of that. If you listen to the dialogue, the themes and the purpose become clear. So now I feel like I might have to try to watch it to see if I can figure out. But he's still, I don't know. I don't know that I buy it. But he is the one that's most consistently trying to help, I guess. He's keeping her in that situation to protect her because he knew he tried to run away with her or whatever. Did he know that it was his baby?
Doctor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I thought so, but I was not paying the closest attention because I was checked out.
Yeah. So, technically he's probably the least villainous.
Yeah. I guess that is a good point. He just kept getting beat around by just about everybody else.
Right.
So,
and I also knew that Scott Wilson was going to be his father too.
Yeah.
And he did not like his stepmother one bit.
Nope. And nor did she like him either.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
no, that's all I got.
They were putting the fun and dysfunctional in that family. Well, I guess that's all that needs to be said here. Let's go ahead and roll them up and score them. And Jared, what are you giving the heroes for The Stranger and the Gunfighter?
I'm giving them a happy 7. Very pleased with 7 on that one.
I rounded it up and gave it an 8. I thought for kind of originality and the chemistry, and like we talked about, and we didn't even mention, but man, Lee Van Cleef was kind of jacked.
Yeah, he was. He showed some muscles there in the third act.
Jeez, man. Yeah, I'd take my shirt off too in the third act if I look like that.
He was hot.
So I can't argue. All right. Well, let's flip it over to Way of the Gun, Jared.
Every bit of the score I'm giving this is pretty much based off the fact that I like Benicio del Toro and James Caan a lot. So 4 again.
I'm kind of, I think your 4s are my 6s in this one. I gave it a 6 as well. I too like Benicio del Toro. There was one scene that I really enjoyed in this movie was that scene in the cafe with Benicio and James Caan when they meet up before the big gunfight. I thought that was really cool and a good scene. So That eked out a 6 for me in this category, but I totally understand you're for it and respect it. And I'm going to see where the sniper bullet is going now, Kathy.
This one was a whole lot easier. The sniper bullet is going to go to the stranger and the gunfighter.
All right. That's a wrap. Back to you, Jared.
Let's get to round 3.
What do?
We die.
Round 3 is the villain. How menacing or memorable or entertaining is your villain? We start with stranger and the gunfighter. Jason.
I don't remember the guy's name. All I remember,
he had a hell of a wardrobe, didn't he?
He had a hell of a wardrobe, and my man had a church on horseback. Like
he did.
I've heard of hell on wheels, but heaven on wheels? Come on.
Did somebody call him Decker? No. I swear they kept calling him the Hobbit or something in that movie.
And he was memorable. That guy was nuttier than squirrel poop and dangerous. And I liked his henchmen too. That I'm guessing he was an Indian guy, the big fighter wrestler that are.
Oh yeah. That guy was cool.
So I mean, you got a really cool villain with a really cool henchman. It worked for me. I'll just leave it there. It worked for me.
And I'm updating my score because I forgot about the cool henchman. I had to bump my score up because I didn't think about it when I did it. And Kathy, you're right. His name was Yancey Hobbit.
Okay, because I wrote down, I was like, why does he keep calling him Hobbit?
Yeah, Yancey Hobbit. And man, that dude, I feel like a small child version of The Undertaker was watching this movie. I was like, yeah, that's the look I need. Yeah.
He reminded me of the Robin Hood movie with
Kevin Costner?
Yes, thank you.
The Sheriff of Nottingham look?
Yes, that's all I kept thinking about. That's who he reminded me of. I don't really have a lot of thoughts. I mean, he was weird. He was cool. I just thought it was kind of funny that he's talking about, the church he wants to build right after he's like ripping a girl's pants down to look at her rear end. And, I feel like he might have been a tad hypocritical, but, what do I know?
He's a bit of a mixed messages kind of preacher.
Yeah, he was. I mean, typically the people that ride around in little homes like that are what they call the snake oil salesmen. So,
yeah,
there could have been some of that in his forte as well.
He was an odd duck. Yeah, odd duck indeed. Well, I guess we talk about the villainy of the way of the gun. Good luck, Jason.
Well, I guess if we're going with the antagonist, we're talking about Taye Diggs and James Caan and those folks. I thought they were pretty cool. I'll just say it. This was probably the strongest category for me because of James Caan. He's obviously a villain in terms of society. He's a bagman for the mafia. He's obviously done a lot of evil stuff, and he sorts things out in the end and takes care of business in a very efficient and violent way. To me, he's the most compelling character in the movie, and I'll stop there.
Fair enough. You made a decent case there. Let's see what Kathy has to add.
My notes was all of them.
That's what I'm thinking. I think they're all villains in some capacity or another.
And they all did such a good job at it. As Jared has mentioned, he hated everyone in this movie.
Mm-hmm. I really needed them to all take a trip to Camp Crystal Lake and let Jason Voorhees sort all this out.
I feel like the true one, like if there was one that was worse than any of the others, I feel like it's Taye Diggs. I was watching him in some of the scenes, and I think it was the one right when he was about to do the C-section. Like he leaned over to her and he's like, "Are you ready to deliver this baby?" Like the cold, like just cruelness that he showed, and stoic. He was very stoic. Like he scared me because he had no emotions.
Yeah. It was frustrating to me because I was like, okay, I get it. He's the consummate professional. He's the professional, but he's also sleeping with the boss's wife, which is not professional. Right.
But I think that's probably why he was doing a lot of the stuff that he was doing, because he was trying to get that baby for her. He didn't care what happened to Robin and the mother. He was trying to get the baby for the girlfriend.
It's a weird spot to be in. I got to get this baby for my girlfriend and her husband. Like, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I thought they were also talking about taking that money and running, him and his partner.
Oh, I don't remember
They
that.
got down there too. So I don't know.
There's so many switchbacks in this movie. Again, like I said, I just stopped caring. I was like, I know.
He ended up leaving the partner because the partner ended up getting hitchhikered with Ryan Phillippe and Benicio del Toro. They were stretching him to torture him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he ended up having to leave his partner down there because his partner was shot, that gunfight at the hotel, and he barely got out of there.
I thought the partner was dead in the parking lot of the hotel. He just wished he was dead.
I did too,
man.
yeah.
I didn't see what happened to that partner after they were done with him. I have a feeling
I don't know that they showed. I assume he may not have survived the torture, but yeah, they're just a movie full of villains. Because even Robin, that's another rebuttal for Jared saying that earlier, she was just doing this for money, being the surrogate just so she can get this $1 million from this dude. So she wasn't necessarily doing things out of the goodness of her heart either. So.
Right. And she did manipulate them at the hotel to get there. She was going to try to shoot them as they came in through the door with that shotgun.
Right.
And that was kind of Benicio del Toro's lesson to Ryan Phillippe, that he's like, okay, well, I left my coat in there. And he's like, I'll go get it. And he goes in there, and then Benicio del Toro, because Benicio
knew it. Yeah.
He's like, this is human nature. She's going to shoot us the moment we can. And it proved the point. I don't know. We could dissect this film a million ways till Sunday. And I think Jared's like, I just gave up.
I did. I gave up. And I'm going to cause everyone here to give up. We're going to start scoring these things.
All right. Yep.
So let's go to Stranger the Gunfighter, where I did bump up my score 1 point because you reminded me of the big Native American guy who's like a really good fighter. So you knew, like, oh, I can see who's going to square off against who in the final round, right? And I thought that was cool. But what did you score it, Jason? The villainy of Stranger and Gunfighter.
Well, unlike with the hero, where I put it in the Elite 8 type category, I still felt this was solid, and I gave it a 7.
Match game number 2, and I did have it at a 6 when we started, but I had forgotten about the fighter, the Native American fighter dude. He was cool. He was a good henchman. So I bumped it up. So we are match game 2. Over the way of the gun, man. This could go any number of ways with the amount of villainy. But what do you got?
James Caan equals 7. End of argument.
Well, kind of like last round, James Caan is pretty much the sole reason this movie climbed all the way to a 5 for me. I finally broke out of the 4 mode and gave it a 5 because I like James Caan's performance. And Juliette Lewis's dad, whose name I can never remember, but every time I see him in movies, I'm like, oh, that's her dad. He's in like 180 movies too, by the way. That guy's in a ton of movies.
It's Jeffrey.
Is it also Lewis? They both go by Lewis?
Yeah. And it's Jeffrey with a G, Jeffrey Lewis.
Jeffrey with a G. Anyway, I kind of like him whenever he pops up. He's a good character actor. So Jason's at a 7. I'm at a 5. This category is bonkers, especially for this movie. Kathy, unenviable task of being very binary here. You have to give a point to sort of standard movie fare villain over in 74 or just the menagerie of villainy of 2000. What are you going to do?
Well, I thought this was going to be a harder choice, but Stranger Gunfighter, his is a little on the sillier side, but it is more of a comedic, it's a spaghetti Western. It's a little more comedy. It's not really a pity vote, but I feel like because the movie is all villains, I've got to give villainy to The Way of the Gun.
I won't fight you on it. It's such an odd duck. I don't know what to do with it, so any answer would have been fine with me.
Because if it wasn't for the villains, there would be no movie.
What would the movie be about? I can't think of one character in the movie that would still be in the movie if there was no villainy. Let's move on. Let's put a fork in round 3 because it is done and go to round 4.
It's time to die.
All right, round 4, we're starting to talk about spectacle. That's all the fun stuff, the stunts, the action scenes, the cinematography, soundtrack, score, all those things that make a good action movie, a great action movie, or a mediocre action movie if it's not done right. And we'll start again with Jared and see what his thoughts are on the spectacle for The Stranger and the Gunfighter.
I like the spectacle of this movie. The thing that hurts it the most is its low budget. It's one of the many Westerns that Italy was cranking out at the time. If they weren't cranking out Westerns, they were cranking out World War II flicks because they still had all that equipment left over from when they were making World War II flicks. So I like the spectacle of it. It gives me what I want from a spaghetti western, from an Italian-made production. It gives me what I want. It's not the high-end stuff that you would get with a bigger budget, but it's stuff I like to see, and it's stuff I like to hear. You know, the soundtracks are always fun in those. The scores are always good. Some of them are super stand out. I mean, you get Ennio Morricone, he transcended from this genre, you know, from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly to, like, heck, he did the score to In the Line of Fire. I mean, he and Clint Eastwood became buddies, so he did a lot of Clint Eastwood stuff. And he's talented. He's super talented. I have a penchant for this kind of movie score magic. I don't think this one is super stand out, but I think it's fun. It's kind of summary of the whole movie, right? It's not super stand out, but it's fun. Looks good. Got some good action pieces. Is strong in action at the front and the back. We'll get to that when we get to action scene. The front and the back, I think, are its strengths. And it's just a fun go-along ride. I'll leave the rest for Kathy.
Well, that's your cue, Kathy. Take it away. Build off that.
I love that Jared talks about the music, and I put music weird. Like, there were some little parts of it. I'm like, this sounds like it could be like in between music of an episode of Golden Girls. I don't know why, but that's what I kept picturing.
You do get a bizarre blend, especially now that you're also blending in the Asian themes as well. So yeah, I get it.
But I did enjoy it overall as a spectacle. Little things like drove me crazy that I didn't understand. Like, I don't remember a lot of the scenes of this movie, but one of the scenes I specifically remember is the scene where Dakota and
Shang,
thank you, were having their talk about their plan, like where they're going, what they're doing. And they're by the creek, the river, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 20 feet apart. And the way they filmed it is the horse is in between them. And all you see is this horse playing in the water. I have no idea what they've said.
Yeah, I know the scene. The horse stole that scene.
And I don't understand. And then Van Cleef moves to the right of the screen, and they're like little, they're tiny, and it's still all they're showing is this horse like laying down in the water, jumping up in it. And I was like, what is happening here? I'm like, am I supposed to be? Is this like a trick horse? I didn't understand it. But I like the sets. I think where they went, different places was cool. Costuming was cool, even though, most of it was just women in their undergarments.
That was good. That was good costume.
Yep. So overall, I think it's a general, fun little, nothing outstanding, but there was nothing bad about it either.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, a spectacle, kind of like if you compared it to a meal, some spectacles are like a 4-course steak dinner. And then, sometimes you just go and trip to McDonald's and fill you up and make you happy. And I think this is a McDonald's trip to be sure.
I'm hungry.
McDonald's is so good.
Well, what kind of meal would Way of the Gun be for you, Jared, in terms of spectacle? What are your thoughts there?
That's good. It's going to be one of its better categories for me. Like, it's early in his career, Christopher McQuarrie, so I don't like this movie. But I can't deny that it looks good. And it sounds good. I don't really remember the score so much, but that's not always a bad thing. Like, I remember score if it's outstanding or if it's bad. So it wasn't bad. Serviceable score. That's what I'm saying. It was fine. Nothing wrong with it. They get a lot out of the cinematography, the way they light things. I am impressed with how he films action. Obviously, that's going to carry over into Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible and all that stuff. I feel like he's at his best when he's doing the action, framing shots in general, blocking, all that stuff. That is his strength. Maybe not writing. Maybe let somebody else write the movie, Chris. That's where we're going to part ways. But this is a spectacle round, so let me focus on that. And I think he did a good job there. I'll leave it for Kathy.
All right, Kathy, that's your cue. Take it away.
Spectacle for Way. It was definitely much more of a spectacle than Stranger in the Gunfighter, especially when it comes to guns and bullets. I should have Googled if there's a bullet count for this movie, because holy cow, that last shootout scene, it was crazy. But I agree with Jared. I think it was filmed very well, especially with it being early in his career. I mean, spectacle-wise, I don't really have any more thoughts on it, I guess.
One thing that we didn't talk about, maybe you were going to take, Jason, I apologize if you are. pretty good practical effects, even though I didn't want to see them. With both the C-section delivery and the broken beer bottles, like I didn't like it, but like I was like, respect the practical effects.
Yeah. Well, and I do have a lot of weird things like that scene in particular. Like, how long are they going to sit and let that poor girl suffer? She's cut wide open, and it's like it's a 10-minute shootout after the fact.
I'm already getting lightheaded thinking about it again.
The oddly slow-mo car chase that they did. I mean, after the fact, I kind of understood what they were doing or why they were doing that is to slow down so they get out of the car and then you jump back in the car so then you can go fast and get away, I guess. But I thought it was weird.
They did it twice.
Yeah.
I thought it was annoying, but
I guess there were just little things. And like, I feel like she was almost having the baby the entire movie. Like, I felt like she was in labor like the whole time, walking around.
Yeah, she was ready to drop it any minute, I think.
And how he was so precise of, oh, well, the baby's not coming until this day. I'm like, I'm not a doctor, but
that's not how that works.
Baby comes when baby wants to come. That's exactly. That's the deal.
But that's really all my thoughts. It was definitely a spectacle. Not always good, not always bad.
Yeah, I did appreciate the attention to detail during the gunfight, especially that last gunfight and the final scene. I thought that it was impressive. To me, that was kind of the highlight of the movie, that last gun battle. But at any rate, I think we've got it wrapped up. So let's go ahead and score them, Jared. Let's talk about the spectacle and see what kind of score you're going to give The Stranger and the Gunfighter.
I'm going to go with another 7. It's what I want from a spaghetti Western. I think it's a slight cut above your average spaghetti Western, but it's not great, but it's good. 7.
Yeah, the match game. I went with a solid 7 as well. I thought it was fun. Nothing too remarkable there, except we'll get in that in the next category. But yeah, 7 from me. Well, what kind of score did you give Way of the Gun in terms of spectacle, Jared?
I also gave it a 7. Is it better cinematographically than Stranger the Gunfighter? Yeah. I think I like the score better in Stranger the Gunfighter. And again, I think I'm just hung up to that. While I appreciated the use of the practical effects, I didn't necessarily even see all that. I was like, oh, I get lightheaded. So anyway, I'm going to land on a 7. I fully knowing that McCoy is going to ramp this bad boy up to 9s and 10s later on in his career. But yeah, it's a very different 7, but again, very different movies.
Well, this is one where you scored it higher than I did. I gave it a 6. I think the final scene to me was about a 7, but to me, it was the pacing. There was a lot of...
Oh, man, you're talking me into like lower... You're talking me into lower... So yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Dead moments and like pontificating moments where like characters are almost like trying to make these deep points. I'm just like, I don't get it and I don't care.
Well, again, looping it back to how we started with the story, if there was some sort of story element where we're trying to follow this hero's journey and we're seeing this arc, but there is no arc. So, if you don't have that arc, then you've got to have those spectacle moments, and they just ain't got it.
They make a good point because like you compare it to Heat. There's no real arc. It's just this happens.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know the spectacle moment. The spectacle moment of Heat is one of the best spectacle moments in film.
Right. And the dialogue moments are based off of, there's not a lot of contemplation where Robert De Niro is like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I can have a life with this other woman. No, the dialogue moments is them sitting in their diner, Al Pacino going, I'm going to put you down if you don't stop. And Robert De Niro saying, well, I ain't stopping. So either you're going to put me down or I'm going to put you down. That's it. Those are two manly men doing manly things.
Yeah,
they ain't going like, when I was robbing banks in Boston and I got off and I was like, lay down on the bed. And then I was like, what if there's a God? And Benicio del Toro was just like,
yeah, I was so checked out when we got into all that. I was like, what?
At any rate, okay. So I think we got them scored. We got Kathy there patiently waiting to give the sniper bullet. I think sniper bullet might be going way of the gun on this one, but let's see what she has to say.
First, I note that obviously I need to see the movie Heat because I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's good and I recommend it. Certainly, Kathy.
Okay. I think my sniper bullet is going to go to The Way of the Gun because I think Spectacle overall, I mean, I don't want to say it's because it's a newer movie, but maybe that is the only reason. I just felt like it was
bigger budget, modern technology.
Yeah.
It looks better. It looks better than,
like I said during the story part, more twists and turns, more layers. So I'm going to give Spectacle to The Way of the Gun. And
no, that's fair. Well, that'll end the Spectacle round, and I'm going to pass it back to Jared, who will pass it back to me shortly.
Against my better judgment. All right, let's get into round 5.
Tiger uppercut.
Round 5 is best action scene. Jason's going to break down some scenes. We're going to pick our favorites. We're going to score them. You guys know how this works. Jason, Stranger and the Gunfighter. Don't waste our time. We all know it's going to be the first scene or the last. But what do you got?
Well, were you counting the first scene as the big martial arts fight? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's how I opened up with that one. I called that Fighting the Warlord. Oh, hold on. Sorry.
Dang it. Thought we got away from paper wrestling.
I almost forgot there. All right. Scene number 1 is Fighting the Warlord's Men. I called that one, I beat your 6 of the best. You send me packing out west.
Dude, are they all going to rhyme, Jason?
Yeah, not all, but there might be a theme.
In case y'all didn't know, this is my favorite part of this show.
Don't encourage him.
This is my favorite part too, Kathy. The second one is the barroom brawl that Kathy alluded to earlier. I called that one beating before seeking it. The third one is Escape from the Hanging. I called that one Let's Hit the Trail and Check Out Some Tail.
It's a rhyming theme. I knew it.
Uh-huh.
And it all involves backsides.
And then the fourth one was the Fight at the Mission, which is, that big brawl for it all. I called that one the Final Booty Call.
I like the theme. Well done.
I do too.
Thank you.
Let's pick favorites, and then we'll do the next one.
My favorite one was the Fight at the Mission at the very end.
Yeah, because you kind of get everything. You get the gunfighting. You get that crazy, Gatling gun horses dragging his around. I don't know. It looked like fun, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, that takes some coordination. You got to hold on, stay balanced. Handle.
It looked like it was hard to do. Yeah. But yeah, I'm all in on the last scene as well. Although I really did. They did a good kung fu scene at the beginning. They certainly did. And but anyway, I'm going to go with that climactic battle. It was incredible. Kathy, you going to make any waves there?
Actually, I think I am because, as we discussed earlier, I didn't watch as many Westerns as I did kung fu movies. So I'm going to go with the first.
All right. No, it was a good kung fu fight.
What was the name of that one again, Jason?
I called that one, I beat your 6 of the best. You send me packing out west.
There you go.
It was kind of funny. That warlord dude was like, we got your family. And he's like, how about I just kick everybody's here? And they're like, he's like, damn, man, he's beating all my dudes. All right, calm down. All
right.
Tell you what, you go out west and solve this mystery, and everything will be okay.
We'll call
he's doing him a favor. All right, let's go to Way of the Gun. What do you got?
Well, and I think that's the theme of this Way of the Gun. I really had a tough time coming up with some funny lines for this one because everything was kind of mean-spirited. So here's the best I got. And I've got it down into 3 scenes. The first was the kidnapping where there's kind of the shootout in the parking lot that we mostly hear. We don't see it. And then the car chase, put chase in quotation marks. And I called that one, I have a hard time relating to characters who kidnap a pregnant woman.
Agreed.
So that's what I called that one. The second one was the hotel fight where he's sniping from the hillside. And I called that one, I have a harder time relating to someone who kidnaps a pregnant woman and then shoots a cop just for no reason. And now I'm finding it hard to relate to the woman, the pregnant woman, too, after this.
My suggestion for that one is a little more lighthearted, but it requires a knowledge of a commercial that young people aren't going to know about. Do you remember the old Tom Bodette Motel 6 commercials? They always ended with,
leave the light on.
Wait out for you.
Leave the light on for you is what I was going to call it.
That's a good one. See, you should have done this one. I just was like, I'm not in this.
No, I'm with you. None of them are like, there's no fun. There's no fun energy to any of this.
Yeah. And then the brothel fight, I just called that one. Thank goodness for James Caan. Let's bring it full circle.
Yeah. All right. I'm with you. Which one are you going to pick? You
Thank
strike me as
goodness.
a brothel fight guy.
Yeah, brothel fight. Thank you. Thank goodness for James Caan.
I'm going to be honest with Jason. I'm just going to go with my gut. Like I said, I was kind of checking out on this movie just because I was like, eh. And the one point where it really drew me back in was the hotel thing. I liked the sniper aspect of it. I don't know why. I guess I dig sniper stuff or something, but
yeah, that's cool.
I thought it had enough moving parts and the sniper, and then they notice where they're at and they start taking fire up there once they notice where the sniper's coming from. Like, I don't know. I just kind of like the way it was shot. No pun intended, but I'm not super excited about it. Kathy, what was your favorite action scene?
Well, I just thought you brought up a good point because I did make note of the sniper looking through the sniper scope, and I thought that was cool. I originally thought I was going to pick the last one because of just how action it was. But then I remembered something bothered me about that. Him shooting a straight line around the room. Who could have done that?
Yes, that bothered me too.
So I think I may have to go with the middle, the same one Jared said.
So you picked up on that too, Jason, our action film face-off, and Kathy too, apparently. Are we talking about the bullet holes were just way too close together? It was like almost comedically cartoony.
Right. They were perfectly
lined together. Like you would have had to be like, it's such a tight range of motion to get them that way.
But I did think about it after the fact because, I mean, he was the one that was shooting as the sniper. So obviously that proves that he's a gunman. So maybe he could have. I don't know. But yeah,
I live by the way of the gun, I guess.
There you go. I did think the title should have been called The Way of the Bullets. But anyway.
Maybe so. Let's score these things. Going back to Stranger and the Gunfighter. Jason, I think we both picked the final scene.
Yes.
To the tune of?
I gave that one an 8. I thought that was an elite category for 3 reasons. One, we mentioned it. You have a drive-by with a Gatling gun on horses, man. That is something I have never seen before nor since.
And I think it's important to the listening audience to know that when Jason says drive-by on Gatling gun with horses, it's 2 horses. There's no stakes involved. It's like 2 horses tethered together with a gun between them, and Levi Cleave is literally being dragged around while shooting,
firing this thing. It was amazing.
It's crazy.
Second reason, that was a cool kung fu fight with the villain's heavy there at the end. Third reason, that kung fu fight that Hobbit thinks is distracting Lee Van Cleef, and he goes for that gun, and Lee Van Cleef was waiting for him to go for that gun that whole time. And he just unloads on that dude. That was the coolest boss ending that I've seen in a long time. So yeah, drive by on a stagecoach with a Gatling gun, good kung fu fight, and then just wasting the main villain and the final boss in the end. Awesome. 8 for me.
Man, I feel bad. I gave it a 7. I kind of want to bump it up. But yeah, it's a very happy 7. I liked it quite a bit. I almost talked me into bumping up my score again, but I'll go with what I had on paper. All right, Way of the Gun. I like the parking lot. You like the shootout at the end at the brothel. What are you scoring it?
I gave that one a 7. Overall, I gave it a 6 for the reasons we already discussed. That is a good fight at the end. Full disclosure, I was watching this back in my Delta Force playing days, and it got me like that scene by itself got me like, I want to play some Delta Force. And I think it was in Delta Force 2 where you have the church mission there. Yeah. Yep. I want to play that one. So that was cool. So 7 for me.
7. Okay. I put my sniper parking lot hotel fight at a 6. I like it, but nothing too groundbreaking. Kathy, which movie had better action sequences for you?
I'm going to say The Way of the Gun, because to me that screams an action movie where the stranger and the gunfighter, I almost said gunslinger.
I made that mistake too.
I mean, it is more Western, which is action, but if I think action determining between the two, I'm going to go The Way of the Gun.
Man, just abandoning your kung fu roots like that. Huh? All right.
It's not going to matter. It's going to lose. Still lose. So.
All right. That's the end of round 5.
All right. Well, you know what that means. Time to go negative. Let's go in the deduction round 6 here to see if we're going to take any points away from either movie for things that we didn't cover in the regular scoring. I don't think that I have anything from either movie I'm going to take away. So I'll put my pencil down here. Jared, what are your thoughts?
Same. I took all my grievances out, Way of the Gun, in the scoring. I don't have anything to take away from Stranger Than Gunfighter. It's just a fun movie. I wanted at some point to mention, I thought it was neat that Shang was like a mathematical genius. And he was winning all the gambling games, like doing all this crazy math and figuring out what was going to be next. Oh, that was funny. It's not appropriate to put anywhere else. I'm not going to give it a +1. I just wanted to mention it. So anyway, I'm done.
All right. Well, Kathy, you don't get to score this part, but just in case, you can persuade Jared or me to revisit if there's anything that you think we missed.
No, I think I already mentioned all the things that kind of annoyed me with each one of them. So I don't think any of it needed to have necessarily a point reduction. So I'm good.
Then that's the end of our official rounds. Okay, don't worry if you haven't been keeping up with the math at home, folks. Contrary to some opinions, we do that for you here on Action Film Face Off. And if you were betting on the match game and you bet 3, then you win. We matched 3 times, all 3 times in Stranger and Gunfighter territory. If you're keeping track of sniper bullets, Kathy gave 4 of her bullets to Way of the Gun and 1 to the Stranger and the Gunfighter. Had there been a bullet to be given for most bizarre horse, I think Stranger and Gunfighter would have got 1 more bullet. But as it stands, 4 to Way of the Gun, 1 to Stranger and the Gunfighter. And looking at the judges' scorecards, the winner of this episode of Action Film Face Off with a score of 73 to 62 is the Stranger and the Gunfighter.
Well, congratulations to Stranger and the Gunfighter. Now let's head over to the randomizer and find out what the years are going to be for our next episode. My brother Jared will be pulling a film from
Choose Your Destiny.
1998. And I will bring a film from
Choose Your Destiny.
1989.
Editor Jared here. We forgot while we were recording that next month is March, making it Martial Arts Madness, so neither Jason nor I will be picking the films. Our regular Martial Arts Madness guest Siskoid from the Fire and Water Podcast Network will be here to talk the films, and he will be choosing the films. So while the films will be coming from 1998 and 1989, it will be Siskoid who chooses our features. We will see you then.
What will those films be? Well, we'll tease them for you on social media. For those of you who want to watch before listening, and we're thinking of you as always, Dave, or you can tune in next episode and find out. Until then, I'm Jason Weasel Skull Albrecht, and you can find me on social media at Instagram at Jason Albrecht.
And you can find me, Jared Albrecht, the Yard Sale Artist, aka Death Probe, at Yard Sale Artist. X, Facebook, Instagram is all at Yard Sale Artist. Kathy.
This part makes me sad. Everything except for X is AU Kathy 2418, and that's Kathy with a K. If you're on X, I am AU Kathleen 2418, and that's still Kathleen with a K.
All right. Be sure to check out all the shows under the Longbox Crusade umbrella by subscribing to Longbox Crusade on any of your finer podcatchers, YouTube, directly at www.longboxcrusade.com. We're still doing that like it's the 90s. If you'd like to send a question or a comment, you can do that by hitting us up on social media at Longbox Crusade. That's X, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube. We have a targeted account as well on X. It's at AFFO Podcast. So if you want to be a little more direct, you can send questions and comments there. And sometimes, in case you listeners didn't know this, I will post teaser pictures about what movies we're going to cover in the upcoming episode. I'll tell you what years they are, and then I just give picture clues, and half the fun is people guessing at what the movies are going to be. So that's something I occasionally do on at AFFO Podcast over on X. By the way, you can also leave us a voicemail if you want to chip in your thoughts on any of the movies that we cover here on the show. 707-532-5269. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the phone.
Nice.
That's why I don't even try. I don't even try. With Kathy.
That was good. That was good. That was good. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you listening. And until next episode, keep your head down
and your knuckles up.
The intro and outro theme to this show and all of our Action Film Face-Off shows are done by musical genius Joe November. Check out his SoundCloud at JOSEFLIN99. You will not regret it.
She's gonna blow him away. You're supposed to let me finish it off.
And Jared, I want you to know that you are not a weirdo.
Jared, you are a weirdo.